What's up, guys? Welcome to another live stream. Today is August 28th, 2019, and what an eventful day, night last night was, depending where you live. GBP came again and blessed us. Another 100 pips of profits. Last week was 90, this week was 100, and it was a very similar setup. So we'll go over that. First, we're going to look at Euro. So last week, I think on Wednesday, when we did make that push above, and we closed back in this consolidation region, I did say we'll have a range fill and a nice intraday or scalp opportunity from 1.10100 to 1.10700, 30 pips or actually 40 pips, a nice 40 pip intraday scalp if you're into this. And since then we have done that. We're pretty much all the way there. I think 6 or 8 pips away. And it's the same stuff over and over again, just different time frames. So if you're a scalper, you can definitely use this. What I teach on the smaller time frames. I just like to use the higher time frames because there's less noise and there's more confirmation for me to work with. But Euro USD, don't be surprised if we hit 1.10700 by the end of the day. Tomorrow we have USD prelim GDP. So at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. So be sure to be out of trades by then, especially the pairs containing the US dollar. In terms of our open trades, the only open trades that you should have is Aussie CHF, Euro Yen, and I believe there was one more. CADCHF. So CADCHF hit our first take profit. We already moved stops to entry. If you haven't, you have to get into the habit of doing that. Once the first take profit has been hit, move stops to entry and take partials. Either the first take profit or 25 pips, either or. So let's move in. Let's get into this. Euro, we'll see probably more movement tomorrow, but till then, 1.10700. So if you're a scalper, you probably made some good bank over here, especially when you scalp. You use a bigger lot size than usual. So moving on to pound and pound. I told you guys I was not convinced, and yesterday after the session, I called a long, right? So if we zoom in, I called a long to 1.23700, and what had happened on the smaller time frames, I wasn't liking the price action. So we entered somewhere around here, and then I think we dipped 6 pips or 7 pips in drawdown, and I just didn't like the reaction, so I cut the short. I told us to close out. We lost negative 8 pips at max. And we can see, thank God we did that, because if you looked at the trade and how it played out, we would have got stopped out, and our stop loss was around 40 pips. So we just saved ourselves from losing around 32 pips. So over time and experience will teach you when to get out of a trade and when to know that maybe this is a fake out and we need to get out. But I was getting that kind of that instinct. My instinct just kicked in. Get out of the trade. If we miss it, it's fine. We can always get a better entry. And thank God we closed out. Maybe later in the week or maybe next week we could have some movement back up to 1.23700. But that's recovered. That's the pound. And on this live sessions, we're gonna go over the trades where our winners as well as losers, just so we can learn. It's not just gonna be just about winners. We're gonna be transparent. And yeah, we took a small loss, but negative 8 pips should not break the bank, especially since we caught 50 with pound USD longs, another 40 with USD yen shorts, and then Aussie CAD and NSD CAD gave us another 90, and then last night GBP CAD gave us 100. So it's Wednesday, it's the middle of the trading week, and we're up around 220, 230 pips. That's well on our way to our target of 300 pips per week. That's fantastic, right? It's fantastic. And we're making some good solid ground. Last week we had another solid week, so let's keep this up. So let's move on to USD yen, which has kind of stalled. The shorts have kind of stalled, and if you didn't get out of this, if you didn't get out after this initial move, this visit to 105.600, get out now while you're still in some profit. If you notice, we've kind of created support at this area, and it could very well make an impulse move to the monthly trend line we spoke about, and we've talked about many times. But I'll show you guys again. This trend line is the one in question. Squeeze out. So this trend line, very significant, and we very well could make another push at it. So we'll see what happens. Until then, I would sit out USD yen. On the 4 hourly, you can see price action's been pretty choppy. And like I said yesterday, to continue short down to 104.736. I would love a close below one. Let's look at CADCHF. So just gonna look at CADCHF because we are in the trade. So very similar trade setup right here. We have the push. If you look this trend line, and I'll go back to the daily since we're getting a lot of new clients this week. On the daily time frame, we drew this trend line dating back to 2018. Our first touch, zooming in, our second touch. And if you notice, since we broke out this trend line, we've come up, retested, rejected, come up, retested, rejected, come up, retested, rejected. And so price is a habit, is a person of its habits, and it likes to do what it's done in the past, or it's more likely to do so. So we got this nice rejection candle off this trend line. So we went short. We tapped our first take profit level, 0.73669, and since then we have reacted. So this is why we take partials and why our take profit levels are at certain key areas. And on the small time frame, we can see what is exactly happening. So we had a nice short, very, no drawdown entry, bagged around 32 pips. And if you haven't already, move stops to entry and take partials. And if we do get stopped out at entry, and I do feel like it's a short, we can always re-enter, no big deal. But yeah, so we reacted off the first take profit, and hopefully we can go lower without getting stopped out. This is why it's important to always secure the bag. Moving on to Aussie CHF, another nice trade setup. Very simple. If you look on the 4 hourly, 2 hourly, when I was looking for signals for you guys, this trade setup just jumped to me and it called for me basically to enter a beautiful resistance zone right here, right at 0.66400 area. And we can see it's created a range from here to right to these lows down here at 0.65200, right? So around a 1200 pip region that we can short from. And our, if you look at the risk to reward, 2.5, it's an amazing setup. I had to take it. So we had a couple of rejections, came back down, a couple of rejections. I do see us going lower. Let's zoom in. Right now we're at entry or at some profit, depending where your entry is. But our final take profit is down below, and each line represents the take profit level. So take profit 1 is right around 0.65800, and then we have 0.65475, and that's Aussie CHF. Let's look at GBP CAD, a beautiful trade setup, and it took 2 minutes to analyze this trade. So let's look at the daily. On the daily, I actually drew this trend line, this descending trend line. We had our first couple touches there. We had another touch there. And if you look at the 2 hourly, this trade was a sell stop. It wasn't a direct market entry. And the reason being was we were up here when I found the trade. And, if we look at this area in general, we've created some support. This level in particular, 1.63078, which was right below that was our sell stop. So I was saying, given the pound pairs and over the years I've kind of got accustomed to them, they move pretty aggressive, right? So what happened was, and let's zoom in because this is art right here. This 2-hour candle, if we look, it activated our sell stop, and look where it whipped. It whipped right to the bottom of our take profit rectangle region right here. If you look, I mean, it doesn't get any more accurate than that. So in 2 hours, we bagged 100 pips, just like that. Very easy. So if you were at awake and you put the sell stop and you went to sleep, you bagged all 100 of these pips. Very easy money when you're on the good side of the pound trades because they move quick, and once you get to know how to read them, profits can come pretty easy to you. And if we notice, after our final take profit was hit, pound CAD rebounded. It's making a retrace. So our take profit levels are always at key levels for this reason. They're not just determined randomly. And if I wasn't doing signals, I would have went long. After I saw this candle and then this bearish hammer, I would have went long. Do not be surprised. And if you are in CADCHF for some weird reason, please get out while you still can. But this 2 hour candle did the job for us. For pound CAD, I wouldn't be surprised if we make another push back to where we were, 1.63200. So very simple technicals, and you use the same skill set for any time frame, any pair, even during any market condition. It's going to work out, and it's simple. I didn't need any indicator. I saw this, and then within 2 minutes, I knew I wanted to go short. So that's pound CAD. Let's end off the session with USD CAD and gold. And I can send this off. When we have profitable days, it's just you take what the market gives you and you don't force the issue, right? The market only gives a set amount of pips per week, and not too many people make profits. So we're the lucky bunch. So let's take what the market gave us and keep it moving. USD CAD, there is a possible intraday short. I don't like it, but if you made some profits this week and you're feeling a bit, or less risk aversive, you can definitely take the setup because it is a good setup. It's 2.4